Well, welcome back to, I guess this is week 5, isn't it?
Week 5.
Week 5 of the Alabama high school football schedule. And if you'll notice, Coach Dunklin, he must have had too much of that Domino's pizza.
I ate drink one too many protein shakes. It was crazy.
Okay, Coach Dunklin's actually out. He's in Belize this week on a missionary journey. And we have Coach Netherton. He is the principal at Vinemont now, and he's here with us. He's done this before, so he knows a little bit about what's going on. And anyway, we appreciate, and I know he appreciates, and you should have heard the comments he was making when we brought that pizza out to him.
It was delicious. That Domino's outdid themselves. As always, great pizza from Domino's, and we appreciate them feeding us tonight.
Okay. All right. Then we also have, we need to thank Bill Smith, Buick GMC.
They're a sponsor for our school. They really do our school's athletic programs a real good service by donating money and helping our athletes have opportunities they wouldn't have otherwise.
Yes, and they also have some great deals on. They have the largest selection of the 2,500 diesels in the Southeast, and you can get up to $15,000 off. And they have a great deal on Denali's. You just have to go in there and check with them. But they have some great deals on Denali's. You can get up to $15,000 off that, and you can get 20% off on some of those other vehicles. I mean, it's just, they really have some bargains going on right now, and you need to go check them out. Then we also would like to thank Citizens Bank.
Citizens Bank, it's the one I personally use. I've building a house and have them for my building loan, and I'll use them for my permanent financing. You can't beat their rates. I deal with Alan Wood at Citizens Bank, finest people around.
They are very good, and I've got that. They have a special checking account that you can, first $15,000, you can get 3% back, interest on it, as long as you use a debit card at least 10 times.
Free money.
Yeah. But anyway, great deal. So you might want to check out some of the deals that we have on those places. And then we also, I use Target Pest Control in my house, and they do a great job. They're always, every year they call me if they need to come out and do the termite inspection. But anyway, I get them to do a little bit of other spraying as well. But I appreciate the people out there at Target Pest Control. They're easy to work with, and they just do a great job of keeping things in check.
On some local scores.
All right, how about some of them?
No, there's no better place to be in Alabama on a Friday night than at a football game, and the emotions are high, and these teams and coaches put a lot of love and effort into it. Addison had Sheffield tonight and came away the victor 26-6 over Sheffield. Meek took on Berry, and the final score for that game was Meek 30 and Berry 36.
So Berry beat Meek in that.
Yep,
That's 1A. Okay.
That's 1A ball.
And then that the Addison score, Addison and Sheffield, because Addison had already lost to Red Bay last week. That was their only area game so far, or area loss. And now them and Sheffield both were in a position where the winner of that one is probably in pretty good standing as far as getting into playoffs. But hosting a game, that's another important part.
It is.
And you need to host that first round if you can. But anyway, that's a big win, and that doesn't mean Sheffield's out yet. But and I kind of doubt that they will be. I think they'll be in the playoffs as well. But that was a big win for Addison, and they have had some. They've had some really key injuries. Some of their injured kids were potential all-state players, and when you lose somebody that's potential all-state,
a small school like Addison,
yes,
it kills you.
All right, what else you got?
A lot of our local schools are 3A, and big rivalry in 3A tonight was Vinemont at Hanceville. It was Hanceville's homecoming. Vinemont came away. It was a hard-fought game. Ground and pound, a lot of running the ball, a lot of yards for both teams. Valmont wins that game 26-12 over Hanceville.
And we'll have some highlights of that one in a few minutes. All right, go ahead.
Great game. Good Hope undefeated right now, sitting at 5-0. Them Raiders took on Oak Grove tonight and came away 34-25 over Oak Grove.
Okay, that was a big win there. I mean, they're 5-0 now and headed. They're in really good shape. They're close to being in the playoffs right now.
They are,
I mean,
yeah.
Each week that we go over these, it just puts them a little bit closer. But that was a big win and puts them, I think, 3-0 in their area. And so anyway.
Coach Scott's got a lot of good things going on at Good Hope. The weight program down there has paid dividends, and it's showing up on a lot of their sports.
All right. What else you got?
West Point took on Russellville. Russellville wins that one 51-6 over West Point.
Okay, Russellville is talented.
Yeah, and Russellville's one of the perennial powerhouses you see year in and year out. That they've got a good program at Russellville.
Yep.
And West Point's got a good program. Russellville's probably a little bigger school, and the the resources in the city school system are a little different than the county system sometimes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Holly Pond took on Fultondale tonight. Fultondale came away 30-8 over Holly Pond.
Well, now Holly Pond jumped out to 8-0 lead. They took the ball the very first time they had it, drove it right down the field, and we've got some footage of that one as well. Scored, went for 2, made it. Then the athletes took over.
And I know some of those athletes at Holly Pond. I was out there for a while, and Levi Boatwright's a great running back, and Kyler Cheney's the quarterback out there. Those guys are some talented athletes.
Well, Levi and Kyler pretty much just carried the ball down the field the first time they had it, and the second time carried it down the field, but they got into they had a loss, and then on a 3rd and long or 4th and long, they decided to go for it. It wasn't a real long, 4th down in medium yardage, maybe 5, and then quarterback got sacked. So that was a killer for them. And then it just seemed to go downhill from there.
And Fultondale's been pretty strong in the last couple of years. They've made some pretty deep runs.
They have some speed, too.
Priceville and Fairview played tonight. Priceville wins that one 31-21 over a scrappy Fairview team.
It was a close game all the way right up to the end.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
George Redding always has his team ready to play out there, and that Fairview community supports those Aggies.
And, Priceville, I think, might still be undefeated. So
they very well maybe. I'd look at the region standings.
We're going to check that in a few minutes and let you know. All right, go ahead.
Cold Springs played Aliceville tonight at Cold Springs, and Aliceville comes away 27-19 over Cold Springs. That game was tied at half, a touchdown game, I think, almost the whole time. I think Aliceville may have had a turnover that got them to being able to pull away from Cold Springs, but Cold Springs played some good football tonight against Aliceville.
Aliceville is the perennial favorite in that area. They have some great athletes, and there's been some professional football players come out of Aliceville.
And then the Bearcats get a big win over Albertville. The Coleman 31, Albertville 7, and that was a non-region opponent, I think.
It was non-region, yes. But Coleman's getting a little bit hot right now.
Yes, they got 2 in a row, so or is it 3 in a row for them?
That's 3 in a row.
3 in a row for them.
3 in a row. They're now 3-2. They lost the first 2 to ranked teams that are 5A. Classification smaller, but they are ranked in the top, and they're probably going to stay ranked all the way through. They're a couple of very good football teams. But anyway, is that
that's all the local roundup. A few more in that is Coleman's region scores of importance. Decatur High School over Lee, 40-12, and Muscle Shoals.
The one thing about that, they didn't have any region games this week.
That's right. They're
all
non-region.
of them were outside non-region games, and then a couple of them had byes. But go ahead and what else did you have there?
One of the other teams in Coleman's region, Muscle Shoals, beats May Jemison 31-0.
Okay. And
Athens had a week off, I believe.
Oh, Athens won. They beat.
Oh, they won. Okay.
They beat Hazel Green 31-0. I think it was 31-0. No, 51-0. They killed
51.
them.
It was Hartsville that had the week off. They had the bye week.
Hartsville had the week off. All right. We'll be back with some more scores and some updates on region play and stuff right after these messages.
With your Citizens Bank and Trust digital wallet, your busy life just got a lot less complicated. As a community bank, we know our customers. They're our neighbors and friends, and we know your banking needs. It's easy to use. Simply hold your phone up to the terminal at checkout. It's right there when you need it. No more searching for your cards. Citizens Bank and Trust. Small bank, big difference. Member FDIC. Third-party fees for data, messaging, and internet may apply.
Of the many forces of nature that threaten our homes, one of the most menacing strikes without warning. Sound or fury. They're termites, and they cause billions in damage homeowners insurance won't cover. Fortunately, Termidor protects before termites become a problem. Because there's no forecasting when termites will strike.
Call Target Pest Control for a free termite inspection of your home. We aim to please.
First six-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
All right, we got a little bit of footage now of some games we had tonight. First game I think we're going to come up with is Cold Springs and Aliceville. And as we said, that was a really close, hard-fought football game, and Cold Springs had to have played really well. You know, Aliceville is just very talented. And so here we have, I think it was at Cold Springs, so Cold Springs will be in the blue, and Aliceville will be in the white there. And if you'll notice, they've got some pretty good defense there.
My source on the ground said turnovers was one of the keys of this game, too. They had a few crucial fumbles in situations where they, Cold Springs needed to score, and I think that could have made the difference in the game. It was just, turnovers.
There's Brody Williams at quarterback, number 7, and trying to throw. It hits out here to Jordan Lacey, and looks like they have a pretty good gain right there. Here he is again with we'll call that a pass. Number 11, Roberto Ayala. It's sort of an underhand, but it was forward pass. And here he goes out into the flat. Looks like Ayala again, number 11. And number 5 carrying the ball. That's Aiden Alexander carrying the ball in for a touchdown. So, Cold Springs played. They made themselves. They played as well as they could.
Right.
A few turnovers may have been the difference in the ball game.
Me and you both coached a long time, and nothing worse than playing a great game and getting beat because of turnovers.
Yep.
That's a hard way to lose.
Yep. But I'm sure that they are all proud of the way they played and the way they came up and really gave Aliceville a run for their money.
That's right.
So I know Coach Elliott was proud of his team. And so anyway, we've got some more footage now coming up. I think Coleman and Albertville is next on the, and what was the final score on this one?
Coleman over Albertville, I believe it was 31-7. Coleman over Albertville.
Okay. And again, this is a Coleman game, so Coleman's in the black. And Albertville has the ball right now. Looks like number 52 there for Coleman making the tackle. That would be Jose Miranda. And
23s.
Here's 23 carrying the football. That would be Jaden Sullins.
Jaden Sullins with a good run. Commit to Navy.
Yep.
Coleman's defense was pretty strong, only allowing 7 points in this ball game.
Max Doolin throwing the football out, looked like number 1, and that is Isaiah Jones. He's a pretty good receiver too. I was really impressed with him when I've seen him. Here's Doolin again, throwing the ball, trying to hit Jones in the end zone. and wasn't actually open on that one. And here comes a reverse out through here. Jaden Sullins again carrying the football.
A good blocking by that line.
And he's had some really good weeks the last couple of games.
What a catch. Wow.
Great catch again by
Jones.
that was Isaiah Jones again. Actual name is Napoleon.
Looks like a full house at Bearcat Stadium tonight.
Yep.
Some other Region 8 action with, this is West Point's Region 7 action was Russellville beat West Point 51-6, Lawrence County 37 over Dora 14, Jasper High School, which was the old Walker High School, was 58-0 over Hayden, Hamilton wins 14-7 over Curry, and Etowah 56-32 over Southside High School Gadsden.
You know, it's probably looking at the Curry game being a little more one-sided than it was. They played pretty well there.
And Curry has struggled in the last little bit, so yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now that we've got the footage, the band of the week this week is the Fairview Marching Band.
Citizens Bank and Trust, your security is our top priority. Online statements eliminate the risk of your financial information getting lost in the mail. The statement can be viewed online at home or on the go, and you'll receive your statements faster each month. Plus, signing up is easy. At Citizens Bank and Trust, your security is our priority. Citizens Bank and Trust. Small bank, big difference. Member FDIC. Third-party fees for internet messaging and data may apply.
GMC Sierra.
Of the many forces of nature that threaten our homes, one of the most menacing strikes without warning. Sound or fury. They're termites, and they cause billions in damage homeowners insurance won't cover. Fortunately, Termidor protects before termites become a problem. Because there's no forecasting when termites will strike.
Call Target Pest Control for a free termite inspection of your home. We aim to please.
All right, here we are back. We got a little bit of footage now on the Holly Pond game in Holly Pond, Fultondale. And I was out there, and I think you're going to see a little bit here. Holly Pond sort of jumps on them to start with. They just take the football right down the field. There is, one of your former students there.
Yeah,
Boatwright.
that was Levi Boatwright. The other one looked like Tyler Siriano.
Yes. And there's Boatwright again.
Ground and pound. Holly Pond's a physical team. A lot of athletes on that team.
And
Tyler keeps it around the end.
Yeah, Kyler Cheney keeping the ball there, and he is. I think this is his fourth year to start.
Yeah, he's a senior this year. I'm sure some teams are glad of that because he is quite the athlete.
Yes, and there he scored a touchdown. Now they're going to go for two, and
walked right in.
Yep, no problem getting in there. So that's Kyler Cheney. Like I said, he's a senior, starting his fourth year.
Coach Bates had some pretty good quarterbacks over the years, hasn't he?
Yep, that was the touchdown. I'm sorry, that other one was a first down. And then comes back with a touchdown and an extra point, 2-point conversion. But it does not take Fultondale. They are quick, and it doesn't, and speedy. So they come back and pretty quickly get back on the board themselves.
Fultondale's overall record was 2-1 coming into tonight, and they were undefeated in the region, so they stay perfect in the region.
Quarterback's pretty quick. He got in the end zone then. But Holly Pond comes right back, and they're going down the field again. And that was number 17, Jacob Holderfield, carrying the football there. And so anyway, they stayed tight with them, but after a little while, the speed just sort of took its toll.
There's two undefeated teams in that region, and Fultondale and Midfield are in the driver's seat in that region, and Vimont,
they're on the collision course.
They are. Vimont played Midfield a few weeks ago, and they were the biggest 3A team I think I've seen. They were very large football players on that team, and very good, very skilled. Hansville Vimont played tonight, and that improved Vimont in the region to 1-1, and then Hansville had knocked off Pennington, so that moves them to.
I think they're now 1-2.
1-2.
They lost to Holly Pond last week.
That's right, 1-2, and then I think Pennington's only winless for that region right now, and they got beat tonight by Locust Fork, and Locust Fork handled those guys. And the final score of that game was 28-7, Locust Fork over Pennington.
Okay. All right, we've got Holly Pond and Vimont coming. Hansville and Vimont coming up right now. So we're going to take a minute to look at a little bit of that. Now, this is the homecoming queen. So we had this was homecoming for Hansville, and that was the junior queen, I think is what they called her. And then they didn't get a shot of the senior high queen, which is a brown lady. All right.
Vinemont's defense played really stout. Their Hansville's quarterbacks, they had two. They alternated, had a lot of yards tonight in the air and on the ground. That number 15 ran the trap really well and a dive up the middle, threw the ball really well. Here you see number 24, that's Dallin Dinkle. He's like a Silverado on the field. He's hard to stop. He's like a truck. He just runs and runs and runs. He had, I'm sure, over 100 yards rushing tonight and a few touchdowns. He is the key for their offense.
I imagine he had close to 40 carries too.
Yes, he is a machine. Here you see him almost breaking away one more time, and there was a few times he got away for long touchdowns.
All right, and quarterback there handing him the ball is Jack Hill.
And he's a 3-year starter at quarterback.
Okay. And
you see down, boy, he's a tough kid. Like I said, to run the ball as often as he does and get hit like he does, he still does incredibly
Logan
well.
Guthrie right then made a good play for Hansville coming in. All right, here's Hansville's 9th grade quarterback, Zach Campbell.
He had an outstanding game. Very quick, made a lot of good decisions, a lot of first downs, a lot of yards. He's going to be some kind of player.
All right, and of course they alternated him and Bo Jones.
They did. He played receiver
15.
too. Number 3 played receiver too.
Yeah.
Campbell did, and he caught a slant for a touchdown at one point.
All right, and we would tell you who's running the ball, but it'd be the same thing, Dallin Dinkle.
Dallin Dinkle, he's the machine. He is a true back.
Mm-hmm. There's number 2, Brody Malcolm on tackle. Brody Malcolm made a couple of good catches for Hansville.
He sure did. And we see number 12 there. That's Bryce Perkins with the interception. Bryce has 2 of them to end the game right there. 2 interceptions.
Right at the end.
And he was emotional about it, and rightly so. Great kid.
Well, it was 12. What was the score at halftime?
It was 12-6 at halftime, or 14-6 at halftime.
14-6, 8-point difference.
It was. Vinemont scored right before the half and kind of separated themselves, and then Hansville came back out and fought, and it was a tight game going into the very end of the third quarter. Vinemont scores again and kind of put a little separation. Hansville had a chance in the fourth and threw a pick. Drove down the field, threw an interception. Vinemont brought it back about 20 yards, and it gave them good field position. They was able to put the final score on the board, and then Hansville drove the field again to end the game, threw another pick, and that was Bryce Perkins picked that off. And I said Dallin Dinkle's a machine running the ball, but you know as well as I do, if you ain't got a line, it's hard to run that football.
It is. If you don't get started, you can't finish.
And Vinemont has a big line, and Hansville had a really good, really strong defensive line tonight, and they gave them. It was a battle in the trenches.
Okay, and it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
Tough
That's
ball
right.
game, and they were battling probably to get into the playoffs.
That's right.
I mean,
both teams.
And Hansville, now that they've lost 2 in a row, they're just about going to have to win the rest of them to get in the playoffs.
That's right.
But now we're going to have Coach Robinson, Stephen Robinson from Vinemont. We're going to have him on the phone here after we come back from our next break and talk with him a little bit about it. So, and then we'll go over some region standings as well. So right now we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes and talk with Coach Robinson about tonight's big win.
Six-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
Of the many forces of nature that threaten our homes, one of the most menacing strikes without warning. Sound or fury. They're termites, and they cause billions in damage homeowners insurance won't cover. Fortunately, Termador protects before termites become a problem. because there's no forecasting when termites will strike.
Call Target Pest Control for a free termite inspection of your home. We aim to please.
With your Citizens Bank and Trust digital wallet, your busy life just got a lot less complicated. As a community bank, we know our customers. They're our neighbors and friends, and we know your banking needs. It's easy to use. Simply hold your phone up to the terminal at checkout. It's right there when you need it. No more searching for your card. Citizens Bank and Trust. Small bank, big difference. Member FDIC. Third-party fees for data, messaging, and internet may apply.
Hopefully we're going to have Coach Robinson on the phone, Coach from Vinemont. Coach?
Yes, sir.
All right. Great win for you tonight. It was sort of one of those, not exactly a playoff game, but it is sort of getting into the playoff mode, isn't it?
Yes, sir. We had to kind of win that one to be in position to be able to get to the playoffs. If we lose that one, then it's a lot tougher to get there. So yeah, it was a necessary win for us to be able to get the playoffs. So.
Okay, and really, it was a sort of a necessary win for them too, because that was their second loss, and they haven't played Midfield or Fultondale yet. So
right.
That was not really good for them, and you've already played Midfield. That's your loss, and so anyway, it's a big win for you. You've still got to play Fultondale. They look pretty good. They look dangerous.
Yeah, and they always are. They're going to be, and they, Hassel was at times tonight. They had some big plays, had a couple called back with penalties, but
yes, they did.
They be dangerous. So.
Yes, they had big play potential. I thought Brody Malcolm, I think's his name, Brody.
Yeah.
But anyway, number 2, he made a couple of big plays there, and it looked like when they had that fourth quarter, when they were able to stop you down on about the 5-yard line. Then he comes out with a big play out of the end zone up midfield, and that sort of got a little bit nervous, didn't it?
It did. It did make me nervous because anytime you're only 2 scores down, if they score, then they control, the onside kick, obviously. So
yes,
we've got to learn to finish those drives. We had 2 opportunities, I felt like, in the fourth quarter to put drives together and finish the game, and we didn't do it either time. And that's one of the things I kind of challenged our guys with after the game was we got to finish those situations and just put it out of hand. Put the game 3 scores up with 4 minutes looks a whole lot better than 2 scores up.
Yes, it does. And after Hansville next week is week, I guess, 5 of this playing season, even though it's the 6th week of the football. But
right.
Y'all are out. Just about everybody is off region play next week, aren't they?
That's right. And we got Addison coming to town, who's, obviously a great football team, very physical.
Yes. They've had a few injuries to some, what I have already told other people I thought were like all-state potential players
right.
that may be out for the season, but they still have good athletes there. There's more of them.
They've still got some good ones, and they're always just a very physical team.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought you had some guys come out tonight, Coach, and played some pretty physical ball and really show up big. Of course, Dallin Dinkle, he's like a train. And at the end of the game, Bryce Perkins showed out a little bit.
Yeah, Bryce had some good plays tonight. He got beat once on that long pass that Coach was talking about a while ago, out of coming after that last drive. But Dinkle's just a workhorse, man. he never talks, so you don't know if he's tired or not. So we just keep giving it to him.
Well,
and he played every snap on defense. So but he's the guy that I don't have to worry about if he's doing anything this weekend. I guarantee you that Joker will be working out or running somewhere this weekend.
Or sleeping.
See him on Monday.
I felt like Uline did a great job. I felt like it really helped to have Watley back. I think he kind of adds a dynamic to the team that makes it hard for other teams to prepare for.
Yeah, he does, and we didn't really get him in there offensively until later in the game, just because it was, what we were doing was working. But the three turnovers hurt us. We had fumbled 5 times. We lost 3 of them, and those are killer. And then we had 2 missed assignments on 4th down that were drive killers in the second half. Well, 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half. That could have changed it as well. But, fumbling twice in the first 5 minutes of the game, we can't do that and expect to be where we want to be.
And you were in the red zone, too. It's just unfortunate that it happened where it happened after long drives and you eating a lot of clock and got down there and just ball gets punched out.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
And, they made good plays. I felt like, Jack on that first, or whenever he fumbled, he dislocated his finger.
Wow.
We come over there and we yank on it a few times, and he goes right back in the game. So that was pretty good of him to be tough.
Played the rest of the game, that's right.
And never missed a lick. He didn't even holler much when I was pulling on it. So.
Yep. Threw a few good balls later on, didn't he?
Getting tougher.
Right. He threw a few good balls later on.
Yeah, he did. And that's something we worked on this week with our play-action game. It's still not perfect, but we've got to be able to do that. And, as a coaching staff, we're working on adjusting to when they cut block us, which they went, there for a while. They were chopping us up front and messed some things up. But then they kind of got away from it. But we got to learn to adjust to be able to adjust to that and have some play action, especially with Addison, because Coach Smothers is good. He's going to know. He's going to stop it as well as anybody. We feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we've got to be ready.
One thing when we first started our show tonight was talking about Dinkle carrying the ball, but Coach Netherton did mention the fact that if he don't get started, he ain't going to finish.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be some kids that you want to give sort of a shout out to that are clearing the way for him to get started.
Yeah, our O-line does a great job. And, we have occasional, it's hard for those big guys. And I know Coach Smothers, because I was one of your big guys. It's hard to get them guys motivated to play low when they don't like being low in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And that hard every play. So, we got.
And if they're not all 5 interior linemen, if they're not all 5 doing it, if one of them's letting up, you don't get anything.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You saw that tonight on those 2 4th down things I was talking about. You saw that's exactly what you saw. So, but yeah, we got Isaiah Young. Tanner Brown had a very good game. I felt like he's one of our pullers a lot of the time, and Tyler Mayfield is a left guard, and Caleb Butler's our center, and Tyler Brown's our right guard, and then Dakota McGraw's the right tackle, and Ethan Martin is tight end on the strong side. So. Those guys right there really, and I'll be honest with you, Coach, they just kind of grin when you call the play that they want. They just kind of grin, and they loving it. They're loving this the way we've been playing the last few weeks. They love it, and they're taking pride in it, and they're starting to understand exactly what we want, and exactly how it needs to be done. So.
Well, congratulations on the big win tonight. Next week you got a toughie in Addison. Then you'll go back into region play. And let's see, after Addison, you got Fultondale. So you got a couple of, at Fultondale. So you got a couple of breathers coming up, ain't you?
Yeah, Coach. You got a pretty tough schedule. These first 6 games, man, you talk about Faultville, Westbrook Christian, Midfield.
Yep.
And then Hansell's in there, and then Addison and Fultondale. That's a pretty daunting task for any high school team, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
At any size. Well, congratulations on tonight.
Good job, Coach.
Big victory, and hopefully we'll be talking to you some more as the year goes by.
Hopefully so, Coach. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, that was Coach Stephen Robinson of Vinemont High School. Big win tonight, and sort of keeping themselves in the playoff picture there. And now, while we got you here right now, we're going to talk just a little bit about some of the leaders in these regions. And I'm going to start with 6A. In 6A, we got Muscle Shoals. They won tonight 31-0 over Jemison. And it already had them down as 5-0 on last week's thing, but they're 5-0 now. Athens was a 51-0 winner over Hazel Green. So I think they've gone now, and I think this was last week. They were 2-1, so now they're probably 3-1.
That's right.
They've had one off week. Coleman they won tonight 31-7, and they are now 3-2.
Big win.
But now all three of those schools I just mentioned are undefeated in region play. They're all 2-0. So, and then the next three I'm going to mention are all 0-2 in region play. Hartselle had a bye tonight, so they're still 1-3. Columbia had a bye, they're 0-4. And Decatur had a big win over Lee of Huntsville, 40-12. So they're now 1-4, but they're 0-2 in region play. All right, let's go to some 5A schools there.
All right. So in West Point's region, or I'm sorry, Good Hope's region, we'll go 4A real quick.
All right, 4A.
In Good Hope's region, Curry played Fayette County tonight, and Fayette County wins that one 48-23. Fayette County was 2-2 overall record, and as far as region games, they were 1-1, so this moves them to 2-1. The Northside High School beats Cordova 48-28. Northside High School was undefeated in the region and remains so, goes to 3-0. And then Cordova is winless in the region. And then finally, Good Hope undefeated, the only local undefeated team, I believe, is Good Hope at 5-0, undefeated in the region over Oak Grove. And that means in the region, Good Hope is 2-0 in region play right now. Just like Northside High School, they're right there with them. And Oak Grove had won one region game, so now they're 1-2.
Okay.
In 4A.
And Haleville, how did they do?
Haleville didn't have a game tonight. They had a bye tonight, but they are 1-1 in the region. So right now it looks like Northside and Good Hope are in a commanding lead in that region, and that'll probably be who determines the region winner will be when those two teams play, it looks like.
Okay. All right. And did you have another region over there?
I did. I got Cold Springs region. Cold Springs is 2A region 5. Cold Springs came out on the short side of the stick against Aliceville High School tonight, 27-19. And then Southeastern School, which is in Cold Springs region, was 42-6 over Summiton Christian. And then Sulligent High School beats Winston County High School 18-6. And correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, but I believe Cold Springs beat Winston County High School for their win this year, didn't they? Wasn't that their win this year?
I'm not sure about that. Let me look and see while you're going on.
I believe that was the win for those schools right there. And then
Cold Springs is beating Summiton Christian and Southeastern.
Oh, okay, I'm wrong about that then. But Cold Springs, fell short tonight, but I believe that puts them 1-2. I'm sorry, winless in region play, but they did pick up a win this season with a non-region opponent.
Okay, well, I think they've won 2 region games, Summiton Christian and Southeastern.
Southeastern, I'm sorry, yeah, that's right.
Right.
And I don't have those region standings for that for 2A.
Well, let me go to the other 2A region that Addison is in. Addison, of course, we told you already, is 26-6 winner over Sheffield tonight. So Sheffield drops to 2-2, and Addison goes to 2-1 in that region now. And then we had Colbert County, a 37-6 winner over Hatton. So Colbert County goes to 3-0. They're undefeated in the region. And Hatton is 0-3. And then I think Red Bay had a bye tonight. So I don't have a score for them. Yes, they had a bye tonight. And then in the other game, Tanner was a 39-3 winner over Tharptown. So Tanner gets their first win in the region. They're 1-1 now. And Tharptown's 0-3.
That's uncharacteristic for Tanner. Usually every year in, year out, Tanner's pretty strong.
That was their first win of the year.
And Addison not being in the driver's seat of that region is kind of different, too.
Well, it looks like Colbert County, but Colbert County used to be a 5A school.
I got you. So the demographics have changed. It's shrunk a little bit.
Yeah. And so Colbert County has some athletes. They've got several former pro players also. They've had
Yes.
several of their athletes
Go to
have
Bama. I
gone
remember
to
Dante
Alabama
Ellington was the lineman at
Yeah.
Alabama there.
and then go on into the pros. And so anyway, they have some athletes. All right, we're going to take a break right quick, and we'll come back and talk a little bit about next week's ball games and SEC play.
Of the many forces of nature that threaten our homes, one of the most menacing strikes without warning. Sound or fury. They're termites, and they cause billions in damage homeowners insurance won't cover. Fortunately, Termador protects before termites become a problem. Because there's no forecasting when termites will strike.
Call Target Pest Control for a free termite inspection of your home. We aim to please.
Six-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
At Citizens Bank and Trust, your security is our top priority. Online statements eliminate the risk of your financial information getting lost in the mail. The statement can be viewed online at home or on the go, and you'll receive your statements faster each month. Plus, signing up is easy. At Citizens Bank and Trust, your security is our priority. Citizens Bank and Trust. Small bank, big difference. Member FDIC. Third-party fees for internet messaging and data may apply.
All right, we're back now. We're going to talk just a little bit about region records, region standings. We went over that just a little bit, but next week has nothing to do with region play.
No, a few times a year, if there's a 7-team region, the teams get to pick 3 of their opponents. A lot of times they'll try to line up. If it's a home game at Game 5, it'll be homecoming. Sometimes people save that for Game 7 or 8. But this week, Week 5, you'll see a lot of bye weeks, and you'll see a lot of non-region opponents that are rivalries or just old traditions where schools played each other.
All right, and we're going to talk primarily about instead of the whole region, just those that sort of in our area. But Cold Springs next week's going to be playing Appalachian at Cold Springs.
Appalachian at Cold Springs.
Appalachian. And, that could be a pretty tough ball game, but I think Cold Springs is going to be able to handle Appalachian. Addison is going to be at Vinemont. And we just talked, and both of those teams have come off big wins tonight.
And 2 years ago, Addison was upset at Vinemont for Vinemont's homecoming, and then last year, Addison got a little redemption. So maybe this year, we'll see what happens. That's why you play the game.
All right, and you and I have a tough time on that one, don't we?
Yes, that's right. Because we're both from Addison, but we both coached at Vinemont, and I work at Vinemont currently. So it's a weird cookie to swallow there.
All right, Hanceville is going to be at Curry.
Hanceville's at Curry.
And I think this is an excellent opportunity. Curry seems to be struggling pretty much this year. And I think it's an excellent opportunity for Hanceville to get back in the, a little momentum. They've lost 2 in a row to county schools.
Sure.
They lost to Holly Pond last week,
right.
Vinemont this week. So they need a win to sort of get their energy back.
And I think if Hanceville puts together a clean game with few turnovers, I think they can score some points. They can really do some stuff.
And Holly Pond is at Danville.
Holly Pond's at Danville. Danville's always tough.
Danville has had a couple of big wins, and then they had a couple of losses that were unexplainable. So,
well, their schedule's been pretty tough. It's Falkville, Brewer, North Jackson, West Morgan, and Randolph.
Okay.
So some of those schools, West Morgan, North Jackson, some of those schools can.
I thought Falkville beat them pretty good, though.
Falkville, last year was an undefeated team, went to the first round of playoffs, I think, got beat.
Yep.
But
in 1A.
Started a little slow this year, yeah. And and Danville's a 4A. You know, they're a growing school.
Yep.
It was always 3A in the past.
Okay. And then we got Good Hope with a bye next week. They're going to get a breather.
And Fairview.
Day off. Fairview also?
Yep. And sometimes that's the best thing a team needs is a bye week to get healthy and, increase that depth back and, kind of refocus on fixing the little things and worrying about them and getting ready for the rest of the season.
Okay. Got anything else over there in local?
Like you said, West Point and Fairview are off. Coleman, looks like this week's Hueytown.
Hueytown, okay.
Yep, at Coleman.
All right, now that's the region's play next week, and right now we've got a little bit of a script that not a script, but some video that we have of our unsung heroes of this week. And our unsung heroes this week.
Concession stand, and tonight we sort of want to honor the concession stand worker, an extremely valuable part of each school. And we have Miss Long here with us tonight. And she's been working concession stand for how many years?
Since my son was in youth league, and he is now a senior. So, a lot.
All right, and who is running it?
This week we have a group of volunteers that are raising money for to send the shoeboxes at Christmas time. So this is Garden City First Baptist Church.
Samaritan Church.
So they are Garden City First Baptist, and they're raising money to do the shoebox ministry.
Samaritan First.
Well, I can't think of a better thing to do. Back when I was down here, I used to have the baseball team ready, and then they had help from the cheerleaders, the track team, and the softball team, and they split all the proceeds that they needed every bit of it.
All of this, except what we give them, goes to the quarterback club, and we do that to feed these boys every day, every Thursday before the game and every Friday before the game. So the quarterback club uses all the proceeds from the concession stand to feed this football team.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And we're going to stay in here and sort of film them as they work.
Perfect.
Just a little bit.
Thank you all so much for being here.
Of the many forces of nature that threaten our homes, one of the most menacing strikes without warning. Sound or fury. They're termites, and they cause billions in damage homeowners insurance won't cover. Fortunately, Termidor protects before termites become a problem. Because there's no forecasting when termites will strike.
Call Target Pest Control for a free termite inspection of your home. We aim to please.
First six-function multi-pro tailgate, available only on the next generation GMC Sierra.
At Citizens Bank and Trust, your security is our top priority. Online statements eliminate the risk of your financial information getting lost in the mail. The statement can be viewed online at home or on the go, and you'll receive your statements faster each month. Plus, signing up is easy. At Citizens Bank and Trust, your security is our priority. Citizens Bank and Trust. Small bank, big difference. Member FDIC. Third-party fees for internet messaging and data may apply.
All right, we're going to talk just a little bit, going to be short, about SEC. All right, Alabama has Southern Miss coming to Tuscaloosa.
The Golden Eagles. I think Alabama's going to pull it out on the Golden Eagles. I think the running game of Bama is with Harris and with old Najee Harris and some of those guys is incredible. And the receiving core is unbelievably athletic.
I think Southern Miss have a tough time stopping them. Alabama's defense I haven't been really impressed with, but they've had a lot of injuries and they got a lot of young kids playing, so I think they'll get better. Arkansas has a San Jose State at home.
Yeah, I'm always going to go SEC over San Jose or anybody that's a non-ranked opponent.
Yep, I'm going to have to go with Arkansas on that one myself. Auburn is in College Station to play Texas A&M.
So Auburn's undefeated, but I think Texas A&M's dropped one, so I'm going to go with Auburn on this one. That'll probably be game of the week, I think.
I hate to go against the state team, but in this case, Texas A&M, they really gave Clemson a tough time, and a couple of plays that could have gone the other way very easily.
Well, they'll go Auburn's way because there's Lucky, there's Dang Lucky, and then there's Auburn. Auburn's the luckiest people in the world.
I'm gonna have to pick because they're playing in College Station. I'd have to go with. I'm afraid for Auburn.
You're afraid for that 12th man.
I'm thinking Texas A&M
Okay.
probably win it. Florida has Tennessee in Gainesville.
Well, I love the story from Tennessee about the young man with the shirt that people made fun of, and they're giving him a scholarship, but I still got to go Florida.
Well, I haven't been that impressed with Florida, but I really have not been impressed at all with Tennessee.
Right.
So they're playing in Gainesville. I'll go with Florida. Georgia has Notre Dame in Athens.
I always look forward to any time an SEC team plays Notre Dame. I don't really know why, but
because they beat the stew out
they
of them.
do. So I'm looking forward to Georgia playing Notre Dame.
Me too, and I'm going to go with Georgia. Kentucky has Mississippi State in Starkville.
I'm going to go Mississippi State on that one.
Because they're playing in Starkville?
Yep, Mississippi State.
I'm going to go with Kentucky.
Kentucky's a pretty good football team.
I think Kentucky's a little more consistent than Mississippi State.
Got a good quarterback.
It'll be a toughie. LSU goes to Nashville to play Vandy.
Play the Commodores. I think LSU, I think they're overrated, but I think they beat the Commodores.
I think that you're right, and I think it'll be 40 or more.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ole Miss has California in Oxford.
That's a tough one. I hate to say California, but I'm going to go California on that one.
I'm going to go with Ole Miss, and I'll tell you why. Ole Miss is due.
Ole Miss is due in Oxford, huh?
Missouri has South Carolina in Columbia.
South Carolina.
I'm going South Carolina. People are picking Missouri for the most part. And that just about covers it.
That's college football Saturday.
Yep, college football will be interesting to watch, but make sure you go out next week and support your high school football team.
Nowhere better to be on a Friday night.
And they love the support. They need the support.
They do.
But join us here again next Friday night and for Beyond the Scoreboard.